Well, hey, everybody, welcome to this week's midweek message. Hope everybody's having another great week. This week, I'm going to talk about a blog that I wrote a little over a year ago. We had just finished the basketball playoffs, just like we have this year. And I talked about in that blog how I really enjoyed watching kids compete. And our teams made deep runs in the playoffs last year and this year. And I just, it's so fun to watch that atmosphere and to watch the players and the coaches and the passion that they have, and the fans and how they get into it, and they cheer for their teams and their kids or their grandkids or whoever it may be, and their friends, and they get excited, and they may yell at the officials, and those officials and how passionate they are for what they do. It's just a really cool electric atmosphere. And if you've ever followed high school basketball in Oklahoma, you know about the Big House, and you know that every player and every coach wants to finish their season at the Big House. That's for those of you that aren't from Oklahoma, it's the big State Fair arena that when you walk in, it's just the atmosphere that building has that just signals that it's the state tournament. And so just watching that, it's so cool. I love watching kids compete, and I love watching the energy and the passion that the fans have. And while sports is a great metaphor for life, as I watch this and I watch these scenarios play out, I think about in my own life, and you can think about it in yours as well. Are we as passionate about God as we are those other things that we compete with in life? And sports looks a lot different than life. I mean, we're not going to be, you may have passion for God, but you're probably not going to be in church and stand up and throw your hands up and yell at the preacher when you want to question something that he says. And he's probably not going to eject you out of church when that happens. But, that's passion looks different in different aspects of life. But at the same time, do we have that same passion, for God and sharing God's word as we do all these other things that we compete in and we take part in? And, in sports, you're going to earn what you get. What you put in, you're going to earn the result. And as a Christian, we're not going to get to heaven because of what we do. We're going to get to heaven because of what God has done for us and because of His grace and His mercy. And while both of those instances require passion and dedication, one has an immediate and temporary reward, which is winning, or in sports or whatever it is you're competing in, and the other is an eternal prize. And according to Philippians 3:14, that eternal prize is waiting on us. And so, I think about that as I watch kids compete, and I think about, is this, do we compete as hard at being a Christian, and do we compete as hard against Satan as we do in other areas of our life? And it may depend on the season of life we're in. It may depend on circumstances. Who knows? Only we can answer that for ourselves individually. But I encourage everybody, I challenge everybody to focus on competing as hard for God as we do everything else in our life. And if you've ever been to the Big House, you've ever been there on Championship Saturday when they say, congratulations, it's Championship Saturday and you've made it to the Big House. That's so cool to get to be a part of that. And I don't know, we always hear, God's going to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. I don't know exactly what He's going to say to us, but, in the realm of, as what we're relating it to here in the Oklahoma basketball playoffs, I guess, I relate it to hearing, congratulations, it's Judgment Day, and you've made it to the Big House. That ought to be our goal, and that ought to be our passion. So I encourage everybody, make that your goal, make that your passion. And as always, love God, love people, go make a difference.